Alright, guys, we've got Team Liquid's Cure in the bottom left side of the map, and a Raynor for Basilisk in the top right. It is the TLMC tournament, that's right. I believe this is the round of 8, or round of 12, maybe, of the tournament, run by Wardy. It's like $3,000-$4,000 prize pool. It's on the new proposed maps for ladder. But guess what? This one is not that new, because we actually use this just in a lot of the community tournaments, like the Pigasaur Weekly and whatnot. Before the last map pool came out, where we were really bored of the maps, and this is one of the maps, Talisman, that we've actually played a lot of. There's a worker-only path down here. We've got these 2 mineral patches, which take just a bit to mine out, 65 minerals on those. So you can take this kind of riskier base, which is also cut off on this side by these rocks, which are conjoined rocks, by the way. You kill one, any damage to one damages the rest, so it's not like you have to break down each one individually. And it's a really good map. I feel like, for whatever reason, can't quite put my finger on it, we had a lot of bangers on Talisman in the last, you know, in that kind of couple of months when we were so tired of the previous map pool. And we were all so sick of playing on bloody, oh, what is it, Crimson Core, and oh man, I'm having flashbacks now to the Terran map pool, the one that Clem dominated the World Championship on. I think Clem would have won that World Championship on any map pool with how good his form was at the time, but that map pool definitely wasn't doing Cyril or anyone else any favors, any non-Terran players, because that was a nasty map pool, that was. I remember it was kind of funny because, like, I think it had a map from the previous map pool in it that was considered Terran favored, but it became the Zerg favored map in comparison to the newer maps that came out. That was a nasty map pool. But anyways, we are going on to Talisman. It is a best of 5. And of course, this is the new patch, guys. So new maps, new patch. Exciting to see. Does Microbial Shroud play a part? Does Raynor just play Mutalisks every game? Remember, Spire. 100 resources cheaper, 5-second faster build time. Raynor's already one of the best Mutalisk players in the world. And Cure, a player who recently has come into his own in Zerg versus Terran. You know, he's a player who's really struggled with ZVT over the years. Dark especially was a big problem for him. Maybe that's why he's doing so much better in the matchup. Dark had to go to the military, and he's like, yes, I can finally win some ZVT. Nice Spore trick there for Raynor. Hides that drone inside the Spore. Reaper tries to top up on the Monster Energy sign. He's trying to regen. He needs a bit of time. He's starting to regen now, but I think that Reaper's trapped. And he does get bounced by his own grenade. Queen and Zerglings trap him in the corner. Yeah, it was interesting. I was actually reading comments on the channel this morning. Thank you everyone who does interact, comment, watches the videos, shares them, and all that sort of stuff. And someone was saying, why are you always so... It was Raynor versus Cure from 2 years ago. Can't even remember the tournament. Couldn't remember the match at all, to be fair. But that was a time when, you know, basically Cure couldn't really beat any of the top Zergs, even though he could, you know, take maps and make some series kind of close. He could never really win a big series. And it was always just that the multitasking would get out of control. And someone was coming to that saying, why are you always just so biased for Raynor and Cyril? You're always cheering for them, even though they're the worst players. You suck. I'm unsubscribing to your channel. Which I found really funny. I couldn't be bothered actually watching a 2-hour video of a series to find where I was cheering for him. But I was like, that sounds so opposite. Because if I think of pretty much all of my Raynor vs. Cure series in the past, it's me going, I'd love to see if Cure can do something here. Because he's a massive underdog, and I normally cheer for the underdog pretty hard. But realistically, Cure has a very low chance against Raynor. And Raynor himself has even said Cure's got good macro, he's got good build orders, but his multitasking isn't quite there. So in ZVT, even though Cure can get in good positions, it's inevitable that at some point, if you're in like a Ling Bane war with him, he won't be watching at some moment. Banelings will roll into his Marines, you'll get 30-40 Marine kills pretty much for free, and the game will swing in your favor. And you know, that's specifically Raynor has said that about Cure, as have other Zerg players, that, you know, for Cure, it's hard for him to maintain the late game kind of multi-pronged dance that guys like Clem do so well. The guys like Maru, I would say with his injuries, don't do so well, but instead he's the master of slowing the game down and avoiding it being like a heavy multitasking situation. Maru's so good at like getting the planetaries and the ghosts and the libs and just slowing the game down to that pace where he is such an expert in knowing where to put his APM and actions towards in those late game situations. Now, Cure's going to come in and find no Spore Crawler. Wow, 5 minutes 10, no Spore Crawler. Raynor, there's Greed, and then there's that. And he cancels the Spore. Okay, he does rebuild it. Yeah, Cloak's finishing, man. That Banshee could go back in and get a bunch of kills right now. Raynor really towing the line of Greed right now. Kua recently, what's made him so good is 8 racks timing attacks. I do wonder if he sticks to 8 racks. Normally his style is push within 8 racks, but then take a pretty fast fourth behind it. So it's not an all-in 8 racks, but I think it's something that I've always enjoyed with my very subpar Terran players, to try and stop it being, oh, I'm defending Lings running in here, Banelings running in there, and, you know, I'm on the back foot pulling SCVs all the time and reacting. I do always like doing a push where you can attack your opponent, put them on the defensive, and really try to encourage the Zerg to fight in one area of the map to defend an important base that you're pushing or something like that. And I think that's what served Kua so well recently, is going for these not fully committed 8 raxes, get the Zerg on the defensive, and just use that pressure to then work your way into that next step of the game. That being said, I don't know how he feels about late game. Keep in mind, guys, Ghosts are 125 hit points now, which is insane, but they have a light tag, so they die to Banelings pretty quickly. But against everything else, they're way tankier. They're only 2 supply. I feel like Ghost late game's pretty good. Historically, it's something where Kua was good at stalemating the late game. I think he could beat Reynor in late game. I don't think he can beat Serral in late game. I think Dark has always had this it factor where even when it looks like Q is winning, Dark would find a way. But I don't know. I feel like, yeah, maybe. Reynor, of course, is one of the best CVT players in the world in a fast-paced multi-prong match. But he's opened Roach, which slows the pace down a little bit. Back on the Terran side, 5 barracks are up, Marines, tanks, and apparently we're disconnected from Blizzard services, guys, as 3 more barracks do go down. Hellions come in, catch 3 of the drones. Just 2 Hellions, not bad. Haven't seen that happen in a while. Is the server down, guys? We are casting this one live on stream, so maybe anyone else get that? Not sure if the server's having screw-ups. You guys type 1 in the chat if the stream's still smooth and you guys can hear me and everything. I think it looks good. Double Drop's going to go around north. And it is indeed that 8 racks plan. Does he take a 4th base here, get another 3 gold mineral patches and keep pushing? Remember, these bases don't have... This one's a full 8 mineral patches. But this one's only 6. This base, even though you can use it to push towards your opponent, it's not that amazing. Reynor's on 16 Roaches, 20 Zerglings. He's got 10 Queens right now. An abundance of Queens. So the problem Reynor's style has, guys, rock solid safe against early aggression. But there's Marauders coming in now. And honestly, if he gets 3 Tech Labs right now, does Kua, and starts pumping Marauders, does Reynor have an answer to that? I'm not quite sure, because he's got 20 supply in Queens, super garbage units in terms of their damage output. All they do is tank. Roaches, super garbage damage output as well. They're 2 supply. Each Ravager is 3 supply. The problem Zergs run into in these scenarios is as the Terran gets close to max, if you don't have something that really turns the tables, like really good Blinding Clouds on siege tanks, or maybe, who knows, maybe Microbial Shrouds, right? You don't have that much Ling Bane. You've got way too much supply in drones, in Queens, in Roaches. Your Ling Bane gets stuck on your Roach Ravager, and it can lead to some really awkward situations. So whilst this is such a safe style building up, when you hit max supply, the style Reynor's played punishes him, and it punishes him a lot. He's got 3 Vipers building right now, +1 melee, +2 Carapace, Baneling Nest. He does have a macro hatch, which I think is great. 6 hatcheries as well, building a 7th one on the right side. He's got those 3 Vipers, but they are not ready. And it's time for Kua to begin the 8 racks. He's got Concussive and more Marauders being added in. Unfortunately, a little bit supply blocked he is. The Ling Ravager tries to come forward, drops some Biles, hitting a siege tank, but not killing it. And wow, it sieges up right there in range. A little clumsy from Kua. I thought he would have ferried that one back with the siege tank onto the high ground. It is what it is. Now, interestingly, this push path is not going to the right. It's going through the middle. And there is a hatchery here. Is it the most important pickoff? Queen? Oh, good. The Queen does go down there. Nice move for Kua. I was going to say good pullback for Reynor, but not quite. Lings going around there. They are going to get past this. The Marines are up front. Lings coming in for the flank. They're going to get rid of those siege tanks. At least one of the tanks will go down. One of them gets defended, though. Nice reinforce here for Kua. And Kua taking some really good fights. 2,000 resources ahead on the units lost. And you got to say, where is the amazing fight that Reynor wants? Well, it's when +2 Carapace finishes. He's got Bane Speed. He's got a Blinding Cloud available on each Viper, so that's 3 Blinding Clouds. If he gathers more energy, which he's going to do now, he could get double Blinding Clouds. 6 Blinding Clouds could be pretty big. The question is, does he have enough units to do it? +2 Carapace finishes. He goes for it. Blinding Clouds a little bit late to the party, but there we go. The Blinding Clouds do land. The Banelings aren't able to get on top of these Marines, though. The Bio pulling back and gunning down those Banelings. There's still a lot of Roach Ravagers circling, but at least Reynor gets rid of the tanks. He's going to try and pull back and now hold the choke point. The Vipers, they want to get more energy. He's not quite got it just yet. I think with the Ravagers and the Ling reinforce, he might be okay. And indeed, Reynor does hold on against the 8 racks just barely. Very, very close here, but Kua still doing damage on the right side, did deny a hatchery in the middle, and remember, he's got a 4th command center behind it. Kua never all-ins with this. He does heavy pressure, but behind it, 2nd factory. Libs are coming in. He's happy with just 6 medevacs for now. He started +3 attack. The bio here trying to spread. Biles all over, forcing the spreadies. 1 Ravager does go down. Remember, guys, that's 12 Ravagers. That's 36 supply of when it comes to their actual basic damage output, raw garbage. Absolute garbage units, the Ravagers. Good in small skirmishes when they're both not maxed, but as the fights get bigger, they're not going to be great. Oh, but he biles down a full medevac. Kua there with a clumsy hot pickup. And that's an unfortunate mistake there at a moment where it's hard for him to reinforce this front area. And that's the scary thing for Kua right now. Rain is kind of separating. I love the way this map's laid out. Massive surround coming in from all sides. Parasitic bombs on the medevacs. The Ravagers are getting, they got to bile down these libs though. There's a lot of libs. Oh my gosh, I think Reina might be chasing too far. Is he though? The Banelings and Lings, they're in such high numbers. It might just work out. He's got enough Ravagers to take out every single Liberator. The Bio's going to try to punish him. They will get a lot of these Ravagers down. Transfuse does save one of them. At the end of all that, units lost tab only 3,000 in favor of Kua. The supply dangerously close. Reina's down to just 78 workers now. And you know what, guys? I think Kua might be doing this. He's with the momentum, with the pressure. He's trading and he's forcing this game into a pretty decent position. Lingbane Ravager Viper there hanging out. By the way, guys, if you guys do ever have feedback on the commentary, please leave it in the comments. As much as I make fun of people for leaving comments like that, just leave a timestamp, as always. And if you drop a timestamp in there and go, hey, I didn't like the way you were super one-sided at this point in the game, you guys can let me know. I actually do take all that to heart. I just, when you guys post a comment on a 2-year-old video that's 2 hours long about something, I'm like, man, I wish I could take constructive criticism or feedback from this, but I just can't, man. I can't rewatch a 2-hour video from 2 years ago. You guys are going to give me more to work on, so I do actually appreciate it, and something I got to remind everyone of, because I think when I remind people of, I actually do get a lot of really good feedback, and actually there's a lot of people who just analyze and catch details I miss in the cast, like, hey, he cancelled an upgrade at this point after it got scouted or something like that. So please share those in the comments. I actually do read all of them. I know I don't have the chance to respond to everything though. Here we go, guys. 8 racks round 2. This time with 2 factory siege tank. He's got 5 tanks, 1 lib. He's still got a Banshee on the right side. One of them went down to the Queens. The Marauders up front are a real problem. Lingbane Ravager is not a good comp against this army anymore. And I think he maybe needed to get up Brood Lords or something like that by now. But without Broodlords, I don't know if Vipers is enough there. No Microbial Shroud, no Ultras. He's going to try and go for it. Raider coming in from both sides. Good Blinding Clouds. If you could get some on the Bio as well. Very good Blinding Clouds all over the tanks. Oh my gosh, hold that. Okay, never mind, guys. Those Blinding Clouds just wrecked that entire army. That was savage. He does lose all of his Lingbane, gets his Ravagers out of there. He doesn't want to lose the Ravagers. He knows those are really, really important. That was a sick fight for Rainer. Was that army a bit too clumped, I wonder? I mean, if you think about it, there's just no counter to the Vipers. The fact that Rainer went 3 Vipers early and has kept them alive the whole time, there's no Vikings, there's no Ghosts. If there was like 3 or 4 Vikings in any of these fights, maybe he kills the Vipers after an engagement. Takes some bad clouds, but he kills a Viper or 2, and it's much better. But if the Vipers just aren't even taking damage, which is the case, they're actually getting way too much value. That being said, Kua dives the top base, and the south side he dives. This is what we call a Honmono, guys. Honmono is a famous 6k MMR, I would say like, what, semi-pro, who often just A-moves Marines across the map without medevacs. I think Kua did the wise thing. Killed a Queen or 2, killed some creep, realized, hey, I don't have medevacs, let's run away here, because if we lose these units, it's a disaster, mate. Now, 3-3 Kindness Plating and Infestor Ultras coming out. The problem for Rainer is his economy. Like, if he loses this base, he's screwed. I mean, this hatchery's dead, this hatchery is dead, his income sucks. But he's getting the ultimate comp. He did forget to make Microbial Shroud, guys. He forgot to upgrade Microbial Shroud! He hasn't made it! He's making all the other upgrades, he forgot to upgrade Microbial! Oh no, does he realize? I mean, Fungal and Viper together is still good, but it's just like, dude, he doesn't realize. He might go for one big pitch battle, and without Microbial Shroud, that's a disaster. Remember, Microbial Shroud will reduce all range damage by 50%. It's so good with Ultralisks, and Ultra gets focused down there, dude. He just lost an Ultra. The Infestors are getting focused by the tanks as well. This is really tough. Now, one thing I heard from some top pros was that whenever you're attacking a Turtling player, the tanks just focus the Infestors before they get in Microbial range, but that doesn't really work on the map at all, or at least it's not supposed to. Bio's coming down on the tanks. Fungal's catching a lot of the Bio. but he doesn't really have the meat, the ultras, the numbers to deal with it, to follow up on it. He's got a big Ling Bane army here. He's going to try and go in for a counterattack, but there is a wall off there, which he failed to click his Ling Bane on the wall off. He wants the Banelings to blow up the wall off, but of course, if you click there, the Banelings will run around the other way, so he's got to manually click them on the depots. Finally, Reynor has needed something to take the pressure off his back for a long time. Splits a few Lings in there. He's got enough Banelings to bust the main, which means he's on top of the production. Will he be able to overwhelm this section of bio? I don't think he will. I think maybe with the Baneling it. Oh, Kua focuses the Baneling. Absolute Chad Gamar status. Kua. Oh, what's that about Kua being too slow? What's that about Kua not being able to keep up? Honestly, he's so good with his prioritization, and he's keeping the pressure up on the front. Yes, the parasitic bombs take out a few medevacs, but the bio's still there. The libs and tanks ravage those ultras. There's only a few Lings left in his main. He only lost, what, 1 or 2 barracks. There is a factory burning. He loses 16 workers. I don't think that matters. The fact that he maintains his production, that was so much Ling Bane that came in. All those depots don't matter because he has so many command centers. He's taking a new planetary on the right side, and Kua's done a really good job here on Talisman, just kind of pressing forwards on the map. Shout out to Talisman, the board game, by the way, guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys ever played that. That was my favorite board game we got growing up. Played that so much as a kid. I remember even my younger brother, who's like 10 years younger than me, he would literally play it with himself. Bio tank there. Oh, save the tank. Nice save on the tank for Kua. Parasitic bombs do bust through a bit. They're doing a little bit of damage, but feels like Reynor might just not have the economy, right? I mean, maybe he can make something scrappy up. He's going to try and tear these rocks down to get in this side, but he's got planetaries guarding that south side. Fungal landing on the front line of Marauders, but the Liberators and tanks are punishing. Every time he goes for a move like that, I think it favors Kua, and I think giving this base up was the right call. I do wonder if, I think Broodlords or Shroud. I mean, he still hasn't used Shroud. It's crazy that he hasn't upgraded Shroud, man. I mean, I guess he hasn't really had the numbers to go for a full-on engagement the whole time, but it seems crazy to me. I mean, Fungal's still fantastic here. Biles are mostly dodge. Great dodges for Kua. And Kua, I think he's got the numbers now, and he realizes he could probably push in. He's afraid of having that big Fungal land, and the Ultras kill everything, but I think he probably could go for it. Ghosts are now coming in. Remember, these guys only have 2 supply. There has been a hot fix, by the way, that fixed the bug where Ghosts were granting you 2 supply. They are back to removing 2 supply, as they should be. Of course, that bug was only on a certain skin of the Ghost to begin with. Ooh, here we go, guys. Marauders come forward. The Ghost, the Bio as well. Viper's coming in with some of Darks. Ultralisk does go down. Hatchery does get sniped, as does the Queen. Talisman is like Monopoly, parent of a genre, a trailblazer, and a trash game as of 2025 standards. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's not great, but you're just like, oh, damn. You get like, it was like a board game that had, you know, RPG elements of like power creep and gaining items and strength and leveling up, and you know, it actually gave you that kind of RPG power fantasy, which I'd never encountered in a board game before. So it was really cool. At the time, definitely far better board games these days, though. Ultraling, Bane, Viper, Infestors trying to hang out. I think Reynor's just up against too much economy in the south side. I mean, especially if like a Liberator or something sieges this top. If a few Liberators come in, I think Reynor's feet are cut out from underneath him. But for now, he finally gets those rocks down. He's going to try and attack this side. I love that siege tank in the high ground, by the way, with the turret kind of walling it off, protecting it, combined with any units popping out. Kua's done an excellent job in this game. He just has to be careful not to do, you know, a stumbling into parasitic bombs, blinding clouds, and fungals, and all that sort of stuff. But absolutely crazy that we are not seeing Microbial Shroud. Reynor has 6 Ultras. He's had a chance to max back out. I would say 6 Ultras, still not as many as you'd like. Problem is, Ghosts, of course, don't care about Microbial. And now the Ghost count's growing. But there was a long period where Ghosts and or Broodlords, I think, would have had pretty good windows to help out. I think Kua's just really utilized his range advantage so well. Parasitic Bomb does go down on the Medivacs. Ultras trying to run forward. Does drop some biles on the Siege Tank as well. That Infestor on the left side gets scanned and taken down. Good handling by Kua. These 2 Medivacs do just barely survive. They'll come back to the front to heal up. Marine Marauder coming in to deal with those long-distance mining drones. That Ultralisk tries to come forward, but a bit too brave. Remember, Marauders are not bad against Ultras. Another tank did get bile down there from the right side. You could see chunks of it just lying there. Bio coming forward. Ultras. Oh, Blizzard! Service is lost! Guys, literally, Reynor is breaking the game. Well, Kua is, to be more accurate. as we are disconnecting from the Battle.net servers and then reconnecting constantly in excitement, much the way Cure is constantly connecting in and out of Raynor's base, and Raynor's not too happy about it. Raynor's the one who's in danger of disconnecting with a little GG, I think, at this point. His main base is in jeopardy, trying to make more Ultras and Lings. He's got some Lings in the south, some Ultra Ling Bane in the left. Viper's there as well. I think he's going to go for one big F2 in a moment, but I think his flanks are maybe a bit too far away, because look at that. The Ultra's already going down. Now he comes in from behind, but look at that. The snipes all over! Oh, that one Baneling actually did break a bunch of the snipes, which means those ghosts getting fungled will go down to the Ling Ultra. But there's nothing left for Raynor. And Cure there with an excellent non-stop pressure game on Talisman. Takes down Raynor. End of the game. The units lost tab was about 9,000 in his favor. And I love the way he just kept expanding on the south side while maintaining pressure. GG. Well played. All right, guys. Going into game 2. And that is the wrong scoreboard. Let me just fix that one. There we go. Liquid Cure in the top right side. Smashing game 1. Really, really well done. Raynor has done an early extractor trick to get that extra 15th drone out, then the Overlord, and then a 16th drone and a 16 hatchery. So standard opening for him, no 15-15 shenanigans. Yeah, which I would say a lot of the Zergs like getting away with 15-15 in certain build order situations, but if they're worried about 2 racks Reaper, where their opponent builds 2 barracks on the low ground and does a very early 3 to 5 Reaper pressure, they usually prefer this opening because this will go into a nice early 18 gas and 17 pool. You can already see the drones are rallied down to go for that extractor. This guy going towards the spawning pool as well. Very nice. There we go. Barracks gas for Cure. No scout for him just yet. I think he could probably get away with no scout, but he might not want to risk it simply because Raynor is known for cheesing in this matchup. This is the matchup where cheese is so dangerous for a Zerg to do. There are so many Terran builds that can shut it down, and yet Raynor is one of the few guys who will go pool first, send 8 Zerglings across to try and cancel your command center. You know, he'll dodge the Reaper and wait for the Reaper to arrive. As the Reaper gets here, 8 Zerglings run in and try to kill this command center. Sometimes he'll just go for a Ling Flood or a crazy, like, early one-base Ravager even. Just weird builds. So Cure is taking the safety precaution of sending his Barracks SCV across to Scout. Now, this map is Old Republic, guys. I haven't seen this map before, but it's beautiful. We've got a bloody purple fountain coming out down here into this lovely, lovely pool. Yeah, dude. Wow, okay. Very pretty. I haven't really looked at the layout too much. Have we got any gold bases anywhere? Oh, there's a purple gas base here and here. So that is a double mining speed gas. So you put just one gas there. It's only got the 2,500 or whatever, 2250, the standard gas amount, but you'll mine it very quickly. Oh, keep in mind another big change. You can't abduct sieged tanks. Now, to be fair, pros would always prefer Blinding Clouds anyway, so it doesn't really change that much, except with, like, I guess, like, mech against Vipers, especially at average level. But, ooh, drone goes down and a Zergling. Cure. Am I reading this name? Is that Liquid Cure or Liquid Clem? Even Clem would be very pleased to get a drone and a Zerg, and that's a lot of damage. Raynor's expanding to the middle of the map with his third, guys. Now, that's a pretty exposed third base, but I think this is just one of these maps where if you take that there, you can take a 4th behind it really easily. 5th base, probably not up here. I think you would take the 5th down here, but that's kind of exposed as well, which is why I think by getting this third up, you want to spread your creep forward up these different, like, ridges, through this valley in the middle and all that sort of stuff, and check it out. You know what's funny? I'm looking at all the sight blockers in the middle, these little hedges, and I got to remind myself, I was casting a really cool SC Evo series yesterday, and on that mod, they've actually made it so if you're standing in there, your opponents miss half of their attacks. It's the same as being on high ground in StarCraft 1, which is such a cool change. So I remember I was watching yesterday, and I was trying to, like, remember that interaction, and now I've got to swap back to normal, kind of average StarCraft 2, and go, no, it's just there to block vision, that's all it does. Can break your sight line, stop your unit from attacking for a second. Third command center is up. We've got Hellion Banshee on the way. Hellions are going to dive straight on by. There are only 3 Zerglings out, and they don't have Ling Speed just yet. Nice Evo. Evolution Chamber just temporarily there to block, buy a bit of time. You can see the Lings. There we go with Ling Speed. He gets rid of one of the Hellions, and of course, there's nowhere for this guy to run. The drones should easily be able to stop him from getting by there. And indeed they do. And the Zerglings do. That's only 1 drone and a couple Zerglings, but it was only 2 Hellions, and it's not over just yet, but he has only 5 Lings. Not enough to do too much. Can the Reaper Hellion escape down here? Yes, they can. All right, good pressure. It's forcing another 10 Zerglings, a 7th Queen out of Raynor off just 44 drones. He's a bit supply blocked, so he's building 3 Overlords. I don't think this is too bad for Raynor, in that, like, you know, his third base already has 9 workers on minerals, and for those who don't know, the big benchmark in Zerg versus Terran is you need so many minerals early to get all these mass hatcheries up, so getting this base saturated is absolutely crucial. And with an early lair, I think we're seeing a Baneling style. Expect a Baneling nest and a second gas to go down any moment now. I'd love to see that style rather than just the old school Roach build every game, but, you know, remember, Banelings have their +5 hit points with Baneling speed back, which means Zerg should be much better at defending 8 racks using Banelings rather than Roaches than they were pre-patch. Seems like after that last game, I don't think we're going to see Raynor use Microbial Shroud at all. I think Microbial Shroud is one of those abilities where, ever since they added the upgrade requirement to it and they made the energy cost up from 75 to 100, I felt like it was one of those things where I still think it's an incredibly good spell, but because it's gated behind later tech, we're probably not going to see it become mainstream and utilized a lot for, I don't know, 6 months, at least 3-4 months. Until someone like Serral plays a major tournament and just destroys everyone with it, and then everyone will go, oh, okay. But until that time, I imagine a lot of the Zergs are going to try it once or twice, not do it quite right because they're not used to it, and they're going to probably draw preemptive conclusions. This is just not a Zerg player thing, this is just a StarCraft thing. StarCraft 2 is such a fast-paced game. It really, there's so much crazy variance from your opponents, from the maps, from everything that goes on, that players are kind of funneled into this. You're often rewarded for just doing the same thing over and over, right? And just getting better at doing that thing and minimizing the number of differences that happen. Speaking of differences, it's mech for Cure, guys. Oh my gosh. Those tanks are not going to be able to be abducted, so that's cool. This is the situation where that might actually matter. And it's a Baneling style for Raynor, which is not ideal against this. It looks like he wants to go double upgrade Lingbane, which tells us he thinks it's bio, and he's got a lair up for a while. He should be Overseer scouting. Remember, Raynor is famous for not scouting nearly as much as his teammate Serral. Serral likes to scout. Raynor often plays under the assumption, based off of what he thinks his opponent will do before the game starts, or just based off their interactions on the map. Serral likes to go hunt for these surprises, but I think because Raynor isn't doing that, he's going to be really caught off guard. Otherwise, he'd be building a Hydra Den or a Roach Horn right now. He's going to need some ranged units, probably Roaches, to deal with this. There's so many Hellions. I think at this point, he should realize something's up. That is so many Hellions. Blue Flame not done just yet, but 1-1 upgrades are on the way. 5 factories, 2 reactors, 3 tech labs. And the Starport, of course, did provide those early Banshees. Hellions clearing a bit of creep. Roach Roar, an Infestation Pit, and a 3rd Evo Chamber go down. So Raynor committing here to the Ravager Ling Bane. Now, Raynor's amazing at fighting against mech with just Ravagers and Lings and Banes. Banes for the Hellbats, and Lings for just getting on top of tanks, absorbing tank shots, spreading out, jumping on top of units, Ravagers for biling things. It's an incredibly micro-intensive composition where if you let your guys clump up a bit too much, the mech will ravage it. But we've seen Raynor make pretty incredible comebacks in the past. Scan goes down in the main. He sees no hive. That's big for Cure because he's like, oh, I don't have to worry about Broodlords. Now, the moment that scan runs out, he does start the hive. Burrow just finished. Starts the hive. 7 more drones for Raynor. Raynor's army, just 51 Zerglings, 9 Banelings. Got 7 Roaches coming in now. Transformation servos. 4 Terran does start. It's going to allow him to transform Hellbats a bit quicker. I love the Spires coming in, guys. I do think Broodlords are going to be such a good unit, especially against the heavy siege tank, traditional mech style like we see out of Cure. And I think that's the big thing that he needs to be aiming for. Good upgrade timing as well, +2 carapace. The upgrade timings, on the other hand, for mech, for Cure, a little bit delayed. It's a bit low on the gas. Just trying to take this gas in the middle. Is this a rich gas? No, it's a double gas base. Hellions coming in. Plenty of Lings ready to maybe surround, but I think with that many Hellions, you need Banelings. you can't fight this with Zerglings, Raynor. Raynor trying to get us around. Oh no! I don't know if this is gonna work. Can it? Can the Banelings connect? There's too many Hellions, man. That's way too many Hellions. Oh my gosh. 6 Terran units have died in this game. 86 Zerg units. Not all StarCraft lives are created equal. That's wild. 77 Zerglings for 10 Hellions. Spire's almost finished. The hive is done. Love to see that Greater Spire start up straight away, but the Hellions are distracting him. which is really key because he should be starting Greater Spite, and he does it pretty quickly. No spellcasters for Raynor. Vikings have started now for Cure, but no Thors. He's on 12 siege tanks and he hasn't started Thors. Cure needs to go. If Cure doesn't go right now, he's just going to die to Broodlords. There we go. He's unsieging. He knows he's got to go soon. And he's got a sense the Hive could have started any time after that scan ran out. And indeed, it started literally the next second, which maybe made him think he had more time. Oh, that's a lot of Hellions to throw away at the start of your push. He was hoping to get in there and distract Raynor way more than he was able to. He's now going to morph Hellbats. He's going to have to spread these units out, but Q is going to have to start sieging these units very soon. He scans ahead. He sees the army in front of him. Tanks are starting to siege. Nicely spread out. There's no Vipers in this game. The Baneling's going to try and connect with those Hellbats. The Hellbats guarding for the tanks, though. So it sends them a little bit too far forward. He's got to move in. Greater Spire almost finished, just seconds away. The army of Zerg, not very impressive. So there's six Corruptors that are going to be making into Broodlords. 3 more being made right now. I think Raynor should know that he has to give this base up. The problem is he just going to be too far behind economically? Q is still not building Thors, though. He's still just building siege tanks, guys. He's on 17 tanks. I think Raynor is famous for thinking Broodlords are garbage and refusing to build them in this matchup, but surely with the recent buff to the Broodlord, where they actually fire their first shot immediately rather than waiting for the Broodlings to move to the front, they can throw the Broodlings immediately when the Broodlord's in range, which is a huge difference. It means they immediately recharge their second shot. They do a lot more damage in their first 2 volleys coming out so quickly. Bile does take out the Banshee. Nice move by Raynor. Transfers south there, and the first Broodlords do arrive. And you can see they are going to throw those first shots out very quickly. He's got Queens here, which will deal with this handful of Vikings. There's 3 Thors starting up for Q. I think a little bit late to start this transition. General rule is once you've got 15 siege tanks or even 12, you should start building Thors, because that's probably more tanks than you'll ever need. Because at a certain point, tanks are just going to give damage to the Zerg player. Corruptors come in. The Vikings actually win that fight, which is kind of nice. 2 tanks get left behind. Here's 2-2 against 1-1-2. +3 vehicle weapons has started. More Vikings are being built, as well as the Thors coming in. And 5th base is going up with the planetary for QA. He doesn't have a lot of orbitals, just the initial 3. But it's now going to be, okay, are we going to go mass Broodlord? And if so, that gives a lot of time for Q to trade out his Hellions, his tanks, replace them with Thors. And one has to wonder, can Broodlords beat Thors? Because I have a feeling if you get up to about 25, 26 Broodlords and stack them and engage just a few Thors at a time by, of course, using the fact that Thors are ground units, they can't all stand on the same spot, whereas the Broodlords can. I think the Broodlords should be able to at least trade evenly with Thors. I'm not sure. I really want to see it tested. Of course, if you add some Blinding Clouds or some Neural Parasites, that could make the equation way better for the Zerg. Right now, we've got Corruptors up against Vikings there. Broodlords and Queens trying to help engage. The Queens need to transfuse those Corruptors. Oh, great transfuses. If the Corruptors take care of the Vikings, this might be amazing. But look at that. The Thor starts to hammer the Broodlords, and that's going to force him back. His ground army's here. He's got a lot of Zerglings, which actually would do so well. There's no Hellions. Dude, maybe he should have just gone. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think Raynor should have A-moved that army. If he brought 50, 60 Zerglings in with the Broodlords and the Corruptors fighting the Vikings and the Thors, I think he kills everything there, but just not realizing, hey, there's no Hellions in this army right now. Didn't see the pattern, and that's a big issue. Remember, having Hellbats in the army also clears the Broodlings very quickly, instantly one-shotting them. You are going to try and harass with these Hellions. Income! Looking pretty good for Raynor right now. He's got 1, 2, 3 fresh bases. This one's not even fully saturated. Trying to take another on the left. His creep's being pushed back pretty far. And he's got a lot of minerals, not a huge amount of gas. And of course, here comes another push on this right side. +3 vehicle weapons will be done in a moment. There's only 5 Broodlords. See if the Lingbane Ravager, though, can deal with this. He's just going to go for it. There's not a lot of Hellbats once again here. Bile's landing on some of the tanks. The Broodlord's taking a pretty good fight. The Corruptor's wrecking this. Queen's coming in, but those Broodlords will die very quickly once the Thors are in range. But the Broodlings and the Zerglings doing great damage. Those tanks do start to fire in the Ravagers, though. Raynor has to retreat. At the end of that, though, you can see the trading not too bad for the Zerg player. Hellbats are morphing, and then he says, wait, there's no units here. I've got to go in. Of course, the Lings will pop at the perfect time to defend, though. And that was not the best harassment move for Cure. He gets himself only 2 drones, barely any Zergling kills. Well, these 3 Hellions are at least putting up a fight. Picks off a few of these Zerglings. And we'll get those taken care of. So Q is a little more efficient, not massively so. If he could add Ghost to this, that would be exceptional, because those Vipers, if they land Blinding Clouds on the Thors, that's where you get absolutely wrecked. So The trick is to engage with the Broodlords and then come in with the Vipers. If the Vipers run in ahead, they will get just shot out of the sky by the Thors before they even lose the spells. But if the Thors have already just been firing on Corruptors, Broodlords, Zerglings, whatever else, there's a much higher chance your Vipers get in range, land the Blinding Clouds on the Thors, and completely ruin them. Blinding Cloud does last 11 seconds, right? No, 6 seconds, isn't it? It's Shroud that's 11. +2 range, +3 carapace on the way. Nice Burrow Zergling there for Raynor. I'm quite liking this map so far. Looks pretty good. I know I'm not doing a lot of commentary on the maps, even though this is a TLMC map tournament. But I think it's something where they all seem to play quite well in terms of the bases get a bit more spread out and a bit more dangerous as they go on, which I always enjoy that as a general feature. I think things that encourage players fighting for map control usually create more fun StarCraft games. Oh, great Ling run by Tank on the high ground is going to try to defend, but Command Center has to cancel, and those Zerglings going after the depots that are out of tank range. Excellent choice there by Raynor, picking up any value he can. Depots might not be the most important, but look, they are actually supply capping Kua now, as he doesn't have actually that many Command Centers. 17 Banelings. If they connect with the Hellbats, that'll be massive. Here we go. Viper's coming in as well. He lands some massive Blinding Clouds. Ravager Ling Bane with a handful of Broodlords and a bunch of very juicy Blinding Clouds. But the Blinding Cloud, remember, only lasts for like 6 seconds. It wears off, and the Ravagers hang around a bit too long. A lot of them take a pelting of shots there. The Viper's going to go back to try and get more energy. More Lings coming forward. The Lings are really vital to take those tank shots. The Thor's running away, and the Ravager's getting a good fight. I don't know if he has enough to clear it, but those tanks are very clumped. Biles landing all over. There's still 3 Broodlords, and an excellent hold for Raynor, the king of these Ravager Bane armies. I'm telling you, I love the fact that he stayed on just a few Broodlords that were left over from before, didn't keep reinvesting, because he's so good at using this basic ground army. And especially when your opponent has a lot of Thors, not quite as many Hellbats and tanks, there's more room for these basic armies to find the value, because Thors just aren't very effective against them, whereas siege tanks in higher numbers, Hellbats in higher numbers are a bit more optimal. Looks like some Banelings cleared. I think I see a tire there, so must have been a Hellbat. A couple of Hellbats maybe went down. 3 spines on this base up north. Raynor still got pretty good income. He's going to try and take a base up the top left as well. Of course, those Hellions quick transforming with their servos into Hellbats. Going to do pretty good damage and start to take that down. Always hard to defend these faraway bases from those Hellbat run-bys. Here we go, Lingbane Ravager Viper does drop a Blinding Cloud on the Planetary, knowing that its splash damage is huge. It's still going to shoot at melee range. Parasitic Bomb lands on the Vikings, but I think we might need to see Raynor run away here. His Broodlings out in the open. Does lose 1 Viper to the Vikings. He's lost all the Broodlords now. He's going to try and think about running forward, but there are tanks behind this. Hellions and Thors maybe a little too far in front of that army. There's only 4 tanks in the back. A 5th one comes forward. He tries to siege up in the midst of this. Raynor continues to push forwards. He will not be perturbed. I think those Vikings need to land, man. He needs some sort of support. Any support he can get. The tanks are actually unsieging there. The Vikings landing, and that fight does turn against him at the tail end of it. Meanwhile, Raynor, the Italian stallion, he's been drinking a few beers. His blood is full, and he, of course, does unleash the entirety of his caustic spray on this command center. Hot tip, guys, if this ever happens to you, lift the command center, shift-click it to move out of range, and then go back and land. That will break the stream. Raynor can't pee that far, even though Italians are known for just how far their stream usually can reach after a night of drunken football. Yeah, it's a hot tip. Something that you normally would do. Kura, of course, just went for the repair, knowing his units could get there to respond, but it's really important. It's part of the reason planetaries are a bit weaker to Corruptors, because you can't lift them off once they've morphed into a planetary to break the stream. Obviously, if it's mass Corruptor, lifting off means they can just kill you with their regular attack as well, but that's why you want to break the stream and then go back and land as quickly as possible. Alright guys, we've got Magfield on the way, so it's going to be a pivot into Cyclones off of 16 tanks and 8 Hellions. Cyclones could micro very well against this, but remember the Cyclone has been, I don't know if we want to call it nerfed. Basically, there was a bug on it for the entirety of last season. The better part of a year, where its lock-on cooldown was only 2.8 seconds. It was meant to be 4.2 seconds. So people kind of got used to the Cyclone getting its next lock-on very quickly. You can see it's going to take a little bit longer where it's using its regular auto attack before it can use the next lock-on. That's just that bug getting fixed there. The Cyclones are going to have to pull back to the ramp. These are 2-3 Adrenal Zerglings. Hellbats on the ramp will defend, but they are going to take out one more Cyclone, or at least almost does. Nice scan to clear those Burrowed Zerglings. Top left side, Planetaries in the open. We've got 16 Ravagers, 10 Bane, 17 Zerglings. Can the Banelings clear the SCVs? Yes, they can. Nice spread on those Banelings. And of course, taking out the Planetary, dropping Biles on the tanks as they try to come forward. And Reynor, does he really want to stand and fight? Well, apparently he does. I think Q has lost his cool. Q is trying to man mode his way through this. And whilst he does kill some of the Ravagers, since the tanks have pretty amazing stats, it is going to be very expensive to do so. 4,000 ahead in the units lost tab. Usually you want a much better ratio than that against a Zerg player, especially one who's mining as freely as Reynor is. Whilst Reynor's losing units on the retreat, he is also taking out a fair few of these units. And now that he's got the Ling reinforce, he's going to go for his own engage, wrapping around with the Zerglings, and Q is going to have to tap out of this game. Reynor with some excellent play here to tie up the series, showing how to deal with mech really nicely. As much as I was critical of the lack of Shroud in the previous game, even though it would have been hard to do, in this game it kind of makes more sense. Mech, Shroud is just not as important against mech because the units do so much damage anyway, and when you're dealing with these light units like Ravagers and Zerglings, you know, it's not as important as with, say, Ultralisks. So I think it made sense to be very Viper-focused with the Parasitic Bombs in these games. You can see he had 2 Vipers here, even at the end. I don't think he lost many Vipers as well. He only lost 1 Viper the whole game. The Broodlords did a really good job of forcing Kua to make a lot of Thors, and that's where, of course, you play this sort of tech switch game where the Zerg production is just much better at swapping one way and the other. You can go for a round of Broodlords and then just go back to your basic composition, but now it's the Terran who's paranoid about Broodlords for the rest of the game. All right, excellent display of Ravager Lingbane. As I said, guys, Reynor is just one of the best in the world when it comes to that style. His games against Maru's mech at, was it EWC? I think it was EWC. That was probably my favorite games of the entire Esports World Cup was Reynor versus Maru. Absolute peak series. Sorry, everyone else. I know, Cyril, you know, you won the World Championship and that sort of stuff, but... Oh, he just cancelled an Overlord, so he's going to do 15-15, guys. You might think, but he cancelled, isn't that bad? As long as you get back to 3 lava, it doesn't make a difference. Problem, he's only at 2 right now, and it's time to do an extractor trick to build another drone. So 1, 2, he's lost about 2 seconds of lava production time. It doesn't really matter. Normally you produce 1 lava every, I think, 11 seconds, so... you know, it's minuscule compared to messing his build up. So I think his build will be okay. He also just bounced a drone off one of his patches, so not the most perfect opening for Reynor, but it'll do. Now with this opening, of course, normally you're delaying your Ling speed. You are getting out lots of Queens early. A lot of players like to try and go straight Roach off this opening. But in the last year, it's become more popular to go Zerglings with it. Down here, Kua has a big ball watching him, guys. What am I looking at? I guess there's one here as well. Why is there a big ball? Such a distracting map feature. What the fudge? This map's called 10,000 feet. I don't know what the lore on the maps is, guys. It is, the TLMC is sponsored by Monster, by the way, guys. I am not, but they put that on the map, which is cool. Team Liquid map contest. Glad that they do this, you know, support map makers, give them some money, prizes and stuff, and actually get such an endless display of cool maps to do. And he's actually not going for a gas, guys. So, oh, okay, so he's going to full wall the front. He's going to Evo Roach Warren wall the front. And this third base, yes, it can get harassed, but it's okay. He's not going to transfer to it for a while. He's going to play a no Ling speed. This is a gasless opening, guys. And he will almost certainly go Roaches off the back of this. He could try to still go Zerglings, but this is just such a greedy start. It would be wild to do so. Oh, hello! He messed up and lost a drone again. That's really sloppy, guys. You need to move the drone. If you want to wait to the last second to build the spore, you need to make the drone is in the exact position where it will place the spore. Instead, he's standing in a spot next to the minerals where it can't place a spore. And then he waits till it's like a millisecond from death, and he's telling it, oh, build a spore, but it's got to move. It has to accelerate. It has to get over there. It doesn't have time to do that. Losing a drone again, Reynor has got to be a little tighter on this. One of the advantages of the 15-15 build is you can skip Zerglings because your Queens are so early. Problem is if you're just letting drones die because you're too... Even there, that was really late, that spore trick. Whew. Okay, he does get the Reaper, though, which is definitely a big relief for him. He needs gas right now. Yeah. Takes the gas, does have 2 more Queens. Now, it's normal to potentially delay the injects, the next round of injects, which he has done. He's going to go for double creep, 1 towards the third, 1 out the front. Inject does go in the main, and this 4th Queen was a little slow, but that's natural if you go for such a fast third base. Roach Warren's going to go down to begin the wall off, combined with the Queens. Should be able to wall off and stop any Hellions from running in. And it's quite common to be able to... I guess on this map, you can't build an Evo to block that. You just have to use a Queen, maybe. Or you can just go for a very early full wall off. And that way your Queens can only worry about defending this left side. Always leave a Queen in the wall off, and otherwise there's only so much room that they can run in and run around to harass him, right? Of course, your drones can run back up that ramp to be safe. That really safe opening. And very defensive, though, which means Cure might be able to take advantage. He's going to go 2-1-1. This is, in my mind, the best opening against this sort of build, because you can both be greedy with the third command center and get very active with the Marine Medevac in a way where a guy who's only got 4 or 5 Queens, he's building a bunch of Roaches, very slow defensive units. It's going to be hard for him to deal with the drop here, pick up, drop in the main, boost somewhere else, and just... You can be annoying, and you don't have to do damage with this as the Terran, but small mistakes from the Zerg will lead to massive Terran advantages. Thank you guys for tuning in. Ariel Mortis. Monster is the goat of energy drinks. So we have... The main energy drink in Australia is called Mother. And it's really funny, because when they first released it, it had probably one of the most unique flavor profiles that has ever come out. This was probably, what, 15 years ago? Any Aussies can let us know about this, the Mother Lore. It tasted like actual garbage juice. Like if you were to, you know, like if there's like a dumpster and enough garbage bags have been in there, and then after the garbage bags get emptied out, there's still some juice, some residue in the bottom. That's essentially what it tasted like. It was like the worst launch of an energy drink of all time. It was like, how did you guys think anyone would want to consume this? They were like, oh, well, we figured if it tastes like actual garbage juice, people would think it's going to give you even more energy. And they did redesign it. They relaunched it. I haven't had one in probably 15 years, but I did have a friend who would have one for breakfast every morning. Very healthy guy. Shout out to Mark. Still tunes into the stream occasionally. Hope you're watching, mate. Don't know if he still drinks it. If he does, that's totally disgusting, but he swears by it being actually delicious now. Let's get an Overlord there for just one Marine. Not bad. We won game 1. Cure won game 1. Raynor managed to hold on against the mech in game 2, though it was pretty competitive. Cure gets a Queen. This is really good. Oh, he goes a bit deep there, though. Loses 2 Marines unnecessarily. If he pulled back without losing any Marines, I think it would have been just a little bit cleaner. It's a good drop for him. He's got to get rid of the Creep Tumors. Loses 1 more Marine. Not perfect Marine control, but it doesn't really matter losing a few Marines. What matters is that it did hit a slight supply block behind it. So if you're not being perfect with your Marine drop, hopefully you're perfect on your macro. And normally Cure is just that, but right now, not starting any depots. There we go. Needs to be building a few more of these, otherwise he will struggle. Oh, I like this. The Overlord thought it was safe in the dead space, but it was not. By the way, guys, is that a broken Void Spear? Look at that. There's a smashed up Void Spear on the side of the map. Is Zeratul stuck over here? Oracle getting some shots off. The Medevac's, like I said, going to be annoying bouncing around, but Raynor's done a good job of limiting the area that they can go with these spores. 67 workers for Zerg, 61 for Terran, and of course Raynor's going back into the Ling Bane after opening Roach Speed. Not committing even to +1 range on the Roaches. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, Cure! Good pullback, but he's stuck in a corner now. I'm actually not sure if he's fully safe. If a Queen moves there, it might be able to hit him. Of course, Cure's going to distract him, and that'll get him out of there. I'm going to clear this creep up on the right side. It seems like 10,000 feet is a pretty big map. This definitely seems like a much bigger map. And 4th command center, 2nd factory. We haven't seen Cure go for a non-8-Rax build, other than the mech build, of course, in quite a while. Marines come forward, they get behind the minerals. But there's enough Roaches that I think this is a go home for Cure. Oh, he's staying to fight. The Lings aren't joining in. Raynor a little slow to help out his Roaches. Big mistake for him, and that turns into a pretty good fight for Cure, who's now... What just died? The drops just got shot down. I was like, oh look, it's really in his favor. And then this number just shot up. He just lost those 2 Medevacs, guys. Youchies. Youchies, youchies, youchies. So Cure just lost those 2 drops. That's good for Raynor. You can see Raynor's supply massively ahead now. Had my friend ever heard of coffee? I mean, I don't understand the energy drink for breakfast thing either. I just think it's like a thing. If you're like a proper degen, you got to like commit to the lifestyle, you know? I think like Roddy's a big fan of the Red Bull in the morning. You know, I see Roddy with the Red Bull in the morning. You know, It's like a gamer thing. I think it's just like, if, you know, you just gotta, sometimes you gotta just smack that energy drink in for breakfast just to prove how much of a degenerate human you are. Drilling Claws is on the way. Oh, he's gonna play Widow Mines. Okay, cool. Okay, so Q is just going to go for Biomine. He's got 3 more barracks as well. He's up to 8 barracks. So he's going to swap into a Marauder Mine style and say, you've got Vipers. They're not good against mines. They don't do anything against them. All you can do is Parasitic Bomb my Medivacs. So we've got Raynor here. He's thinking about map 1. He's thinking about, I want Vipers with Blinding Clouds and all this sort of stuff. Like, I want to be, you know, ripping you to shreds with... And remember, he had some amazing Blinding Clouds, even though he lost the game. But... he's going to actually be... It's a pivot from Cure into a more standard 4-base just bio mine game. And that's going to do really well against the Lingbane. The Ravagers will be nice at biling mines, you know, one at a time. But when the fight gets messy, you don't really have enough time to bile all of these Widow Mines. Especially not when you can build 3 Widow Mines every 21 seconds. One of the fastest producing units in the game. Only 3 seconds longer than a Marine. Despite it having a lot more impact. Marine Tank Widow Mine getting ready here. Raynor, just no map vision whatsoever. He's got a good counter ready in the bottom side. But can he actually hang on up here? Dude, his Evos. Oh, letting this army get so close to his Evo chambers is a bit of a travesty. He's got to be careful. He can't fully engage this. Raynor goes forward with a few more units than I think he should. If he could keep biling here and just fight with the Ravagers, it might be okay. He's got to defend the Evos, though. He can't be running away. Raynor, you can't give up the Evos. Not like this. He could have defended it. He Blinding Clouds to save the Evo Chamber, showing how desperate he is, and Carapace barely finishes. The Ravager's going to drop some biles across there, gets rid of 2 tanks. Okay, that's a really good hold. Now the Baneling's going to go in. Q is in trouble. I think he's already spotted this. You can see his army's coming home, because Raynor screwed up the bus. Twice now he screws up the bus. The Ravagers are still fighting on that side. They're getting cleaned up. Lings are into the natural. Banes are there. Good spready on those units. Banelings should probably just take these SCVs, but no, the SCVs are going to get out of there. And this is a great hold. Because of the pressure on the front, Raynor loses +2 melee, and he doesn't micro his Ling Bane counter correctly. He revealed the Ling Bane counter, pulled back, went in for it, and then failed to blow up the wall. It's a little bit of misexecution due to the pressure on the front. Cure is actually forcing mistakes out of Raynor in a high-intensity situation. That just goes to show how much Cure's ability to dictate the pace of the game, his confidence in the matchup. I don't know if it's a raw multitasking thing or it's just he knows exactly where and when to press and where to focus, but it feels like Cure is able to dance the dance with one of the fastest StarCraft players of all time. And that's a big step up, especially when we've characterized Cure as being a bit too slow to have success in this matchup for many years. Lings are coming in. SCVs run away. Widow Mines could do some good shots there. Bio gets jumped on at the same time. We are going to see some... Oh, the Vipers flying in. One of them dies. Blinding Clouds on the tank. Parasitic Bombs as well. Only 1 dies, though. Not too bad. Only 4 SCVs have gone down. Good defense by Cure. And Cure is going to smash the Ultra. Goes right through the Transfuse. He's got the Bio there. The Hatchery, though. Oh, can he get it? Yes, he can. He can get the Hatchery, but he's going to lose a bunch of Bio. Not enough room for everyone inside those Medivacs, so of course he will lose a few of these units. Stimming and started stepping away before he picks up and gets out. Now, at the end of all that, you've got Zerg, who's trying to rebuild his 4th base at 11 minutes. Guess what? Half mined out natural, half mined out third, almost completely mined out main. This is a disaster for Raynor. His income is not very good. Terran still has a 4th with a 5th command center up, but the wall-off's down. If Raynor can keep hitting counterattacks, little efficient Ling run bys, maybe get here into the Infestors to help out these Ultras, especially if he uses Shroud, because right now there's no Ghosts. Shroud would be amazing in this game. He refused to upgrade it in the previous game, but it really is massive. Now, I know that a lot of people have what I would call cognitive impairment, because I've heard a few very high-level Zergs actually told me it's bad because the Terran just moves out of the Microbial Shroud. And I kind of like looked at them and raised an eyebrow, proverbially, since we were chatting online, and just went, really? You think that's it? And they went, yeah, Microbial Shroud's not good because the Terran just moves out of it. I could not believe what I was hearing. It's one of the best spells in the game, but of course, if you just don't think about things on a deeper level but they just move, you might not be able to put 2 and 2 together. Raynor, of course, doesn't have time to get to it anyway right now. He's only got 1 Infestor. Right now, it's a Viper Ultra Army. He has to give up this base. I think he's in big trouble right now. Marine Marauder moving forwards, getting 4 more drones. Dude, I really feel if Raynor saw that earlier push come up here and intercepted it and slowed it down and got his 2-2 to finish, it'd be such a difference maker. Right now, he's still only on +1 melee, and that really matters, especially with Adrenal now kicking in. Every extra point of damage is massive. The Zergling's just getting scanned, getting cleaned up. Q is just picking away at him. Fungals are... Oh, Fungal Parasitic Bomb combo! Raynor with a sick fight. Gets a nice set of biles on the lib. Not enough to kill it, but good damage there. He's taking some efficient engagements, but now, oh, I don't think he's watching. I don't think Raynor was watching there. Oh, ultras, stray ultras going in. Remember, guys, trying to stop your ultras from running in. It's very, very hard. It's like putting raw meat in front of a dog. It doesn't matter how well trained it is, man. They just get excited sometimes. The Ultraling Bane trying to run forward. The Viper's there as well. Banelings roll in and kill 11 workers down on that base, which is pretty nice. The Ravagers will take out the Liberator. At least they will on the next pile. And it is a hold for Raynor. He survives for now. What's his income, though? Oh, it's not good. Was it a Liberator? Something came in down here. Those units just now going back to mining. Raynor cannot secure another base. And even though this is a pretty big map, you can see that the bases do get quite exposed. It's really hard to secure this corner. Really hard, as we've seen, to secure these top two bases unless you've got control over this area. Raynor's going to try and do some more Ling Run buys. Does take out the SCV on the command center, but that's it. The Widowmine's doing a good job of defending. The Liberator there is a little bit of insurance as well. But Kua does forget to put an SCV back on that command center, which is a very nice boon to Raynor. Gives him a little bit of time here to maybe build up for the perfect engagement. He's got 3 Infestors now. His +3 Carapace is coming in. He's already got Kiteness. Doesn't have the Ultralisk movement speed upgrade. Can't afford it. The Anabolic Synthesis. It is a pretty niche upgrade. I would not prioritize it if I'm not maxed either, personally. You know, some players say it's amazing. They swear by it. I think it's good. Helps a little bit off creep. Right now, they're just trying to survive, and the Ghosts coming in are going to cause big problems. Zerglings do get rid of 7 SCVs, forcing a lift, being annoying. But Kua has this top right base, and Kua just has not given up this position. He realizes how much of a problem this area is for Raynor. Raynor doesn't have a solution. I wonder if Broodlords are the answer to this matchup as well against Bio, because the Broodlords did really well in that last game against Mech, but because Kua's been doing a lot of these kind of slow pushes, Broodlords, as such a long-range unit, a sort of siege breaker, they are a very good unit for picking away at pushes like this. Now, obviously, once there's Ghosts out, you'd need to be doing really good Infestor dances. Nice scan, by the way, to catch that burrowed Infestor. Here we go. That's what you need to do as Raynor. 4 Ultras, a couple Lings, Banes, and Roaches, and he's just going to take out these top 2 bases. Ghosts moving to defend. Great choice by Kua. He doesn't want to abandon this position, so he only sends the Ghosts, and that's very, very clever. And he even hides them. I think he wants the Ultras to commit. He wants the Ultras to commit. It's a trap. Don't go in there, Raynor. Don't go in there. And there we go. The Ghosts come out all cloaked, and the Ultras say goodnight. 3 Ultras go down, as do some Banelings. 1 Ultra escapes. Raynor tries to break at the front at the same time. That was a great trap set up there by Kua. Keep in mind, though, Kua's down to 44 workers. His 3rd was lifted for a while there. He's never continued building this command center. So Kua doesn't have a big economy anymore, but he's still got a giant army, and Raynor's economy is still trash, so I don't know if it matters. Ultras and Banes running forward. Infestor's landing a nice fungal. Parasitic Bomb, and the Medevac's going to get some kills there. Widowmines aren't amazing against Ultras, but they do pretty decent damage. The bio spread is huge. He's up the ramp as well. Oh, man. How do you engage here? Widowmine's trying to come forward. One of them goes down before it can fire. The other ones are... Well, only one of them actually fired there. There's an Infestor behind. He's just got so little meat right now. Single Ultralisk does try to take out that base, but of course, with repair, it's totally fine. Lings get in on the 3rd. Raynor staying active, trying to use that 500 actions per minute. But Kua has stayed dogged in focusing on what's important, pushing the most brutal attack paths. And now he's focusing on turtling up on his bases at home, his corner base up in the top right, which does really need a Liberator to secure it. And Raynor's Hive and all of his tech is going to get taken out. Raynor's got the top and the bottom left mining in this base, so he's got 2 bases mining pretty healthily, which is nice. Like, it's not a bad economy. He is splitting those Ultras up there, which with that Ultra unburrowing will be nice. Unfortunately, they're also damaged. You really don't want to lose any of these, man. I think he will lose this red hit point 1 to the Splash. Actually, the Splash is not big enough. Ultras are so chunky. The Ultras are going to take that out. You know what's cool, though? Kua realized what was coming, man. Runs the SCVs away ahead of time. He's trying to evacuate them. Kua, do not... Oh, no. I actually... If I was in Kua's shoes, I 100% lose this game to Fungal right now. Like, I push forward and, like, I lose my army to Fungal. I really think with double the army supply, this should be an easy finish. But he's got to be careful. Does take a pretty juicy Fungal. Oh, the Infestor's dying to Widowmines, though. And Ultra's coming from behind getting hammered. That Infestor not doing its job. Oh, man, the Ultra's getting popped. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The spawning pool's gone. All the tech's gone. I was like dreaming of a scenario here where the Terran manages to find a way to throw, and I'm like, look, Kua's not me. I would find a way to move command on creep and lose everything, that Fungal Ultra and Banelings and whatever. But at this point, you can't even make Banelings as Raynor. I mean, Raynor's down in the dumps and in a very bad situation. I really think the lapse in map control lost him this game. I think if he had his army out here intercepting that first big push that denied his Evo chambers, we're looking at an entirely different game. I also think he's been botching his Ling Bane run-bys multiple times in this series. This is not me saying Reyna's a bad player. This is me saying with a few small adjustments, Reyna crushes this game and potentially maybe crushes game 1 as well. I'm really singing the praises of Reyna here, guys. I think Q has played an excellent game, don't get me wrong. But I think if Reyna's like picture perfect, just the way this opened, the way the setup was, it was very playable for him. I don't think he was miles behind from early on or anything like that. But I think what we've seen is once Kua gets a position in range of one of your bases, my gosh, he's so hard to dislodge. Thank you, Gilman, for the 1-year resub. Ariel Mortis as well. If you guys are enjoying the games, please don't forget to check out the Patreon. If you guys are watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description. And I really appreciate all of you. You know, if you can't afford to support, don't worry about it. Like, subscribe, hang out, recommend the videos to your friends. And just, you know, generally have a good time interacting with the video, watching videos at the end, and just having a bit of fun always supports the channel. Nice fungals there. So even though you lose 2 queens, the Medivacs are the only thing that survives. But it makes a big difference. And if you want some cool perks, Patreon really does go a long way to supporting the channel. But yeah, we've got so many good casts coming up over the next 2 weeks, guys. We've got so many epic series. Multiple replay packs have dropped, and weekly tournaments have also had some good series. So stay tuned. The next 2 weeks is going to be action-packed. Bio Ghost here, trying to move forward. He just doesn't want to throw his army into Fungal Baneling, right? It's a necessarily careful and methodical progression for a Kua who has 170 army supply, and he's simplified his economy, right? He's barely mining just a bit of minerals on his natural and third. He's saying, look, I don't want to try and spread my bases out to 5 different locations that I can't realistically defend. Ooh, good Widow Mine. This guy has 24 kills. But yeah, he just wants to try and make sure he can try and find the engage. He doesn't have any Medivacs either, so it's hard to heal up the bio after they stem. Something that happens in late game is you're so busy. You're just kind of used to having too many Medivacs almost for a while, and then at some point you lose a bunch to Parasitic Bomb. Sometimes it takes a minute before you realize, wait a second, why is this army not healed up? He's starting Medivacs now, but he's maxed. Another hatchery snipe there, very well done. Reyna, he's just kind of trying to remax and then look for the perfect engage. Problem is, even if he remaxes, he's still going to be down significantly in army supply. Like, he needs to land the best spells ever. And he's still not made Microbial Shroud, which is a real travesty with Ultras against Bio. I mean, don't get me wrong, yes, there's ghosts there, but the Ultras tank so much more Marine Marauder. Your Ling Bane does amazing against all the Ling... Like, actually, Ling Bane against Marines and Marauders and Ghosts even is so big. Pig always explaining for 30 seconds that he doesn't hate a player when he criticizes someone. Well, there's this thing, I don't know if you guys have seen sports fans, and it's the same with esports and StarCraft fans. They're what we call fragile cucks, who basically over-identify with players who they hero worship, and they really cry if you don't constantly sing the praises of their player, and if you ever criticize anything they do, they're like, stop! The biggest snowflakes are actually the sports fans. I don't know if you guys have ever realized that. You can't say bad things about my player. No, to be fair, sometimes I do go overboard on criticism. But it's always a work in progress. Got to try and represent the reality of the game. Just don't want to overemphasize mistakes or anything like that, which is where you step into dangerous territory. Speaking of stepping into dangerous territory, going on creep with Bio? Normally dangerous, not when you've got 180 army supply. Every SCV you kill just means more army for me, Reyna. New lair goes down, new Baneling Nest goes down, new spawning pool's going to go down, which means Reyna's back to no tech in this game. And his army's getting shaved down. I think what Q is doing an exceptional job of, as he even catches the overlords on the left, is winning the game through small fights, small trades. He's 15,000 resources lost ahead. He's not allowing Reyna to get one big perfect comeback engagement. He's just forcing small skirmishes. He's kind of like mitigating risk by doing that, right? He's mitigating risk. He's not allowing himself to make one big mistake. And he's just kind of chilling out on it. That is Zeratul spaceship, right, guys? Or you guys correct me if I think it's a Void Spear, isn't it? I think that's what it's called. Dude, this pervy infested just following him. Yeah, he scans it, gets rid of it. Good call. Good call. Reyna's kind of just hanging on, guys. He's hanging onto the edge of the cliff. He's like, Scar, help me! And, you know, Kua, being a good uncle who is jealous of Raynor's crown, is probably going to push him off this ledge soon. Fungals come forward, gets good Fungals on the front of the army, but look at how much there is behind it. Kua didn't even stim his army. Kua didn't even remember to stim his army for the first 10 seconds of that fight. And you know when a Terran can A-move their bio in a ball, not stim it, eat Fungals, and still wreck you, you may have been dead for a while. Kua takes the lead 2-1. Alright guys, Kua in the top right side of the map with an excellent display there. He's now going to go into Celestial Enclave. Do you guys say Enclave or Enclave? I think I say Enclave. I think that's correct. There's probably different ways of saying it anyway. For those who don't know, what is an Enclave? So an Enclave is like kind of like a protected secretive society. Some would say like a cabal of Zergs doing dodgy patches to make sure their race is favored so that their greatest player, their mascot, Serral, can continue to win world championships year after year. Speaking of which, unrelated, Basilisk's Raynor in the bottom left side of the map. No, I don't actually know what even is an enclave? Is it? I mean, it's normally, yeah, I don't actually know the exact strict. You know, there's like a lot of words you don't really ever use in day-to-day. You kind of know what it means, but if someone asks you to define it, you don't actually know exactly what it means. I was just speaking out of my butt there, which is something those who are regular. I know, we don't need you to come on the speaker at 4,000 decibels every single frigging week and do a goddamn fire alarm test. Sorry guys, I muted the mic because it was splitting my ears. Hopefully that wasn't too loud for you because I do try to make it so it doesn't pick up much audio except me speaking directly into the mic. But oh my god, ear splitting fire alarm test. Gosh, those who are regular viewers of the channel would know all about it. I can't remember what we were talking about before that. If you guys can maybe remind me. But yeah, I don't know. I was hoping someone would have Googled exactly what the dictionary definition of an enclave is. Kua up here. Third base going down on location. Oh, we get an in-base? Oh, but it's only 5 mineral patches. Oh, okay, so you get a free garbage base in the back, guys. So you get a free garbage base here on Celestial Enclave. You've got some little shielded rocks, just a debris here connecting to this base, which also has a worker-only path, it looks like, through the back. And Raynor's going 4 hatchery gasless. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it looks like these players have already played on this map a bit, and they kind of know the meta is greedy. But guys, Raynor's build is so greedy. It's 4 hatcheries before queens. 4! Wow. An enclave is a place or group that is different in character from those surrounding it. Okay. The Vatican City is an enclave in Italy, completely surrounded by Italy. Okay, that's cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So what is this protected bio from? I mean, there's water all around it, like there is on a lot of maps, and there's sharks down there, and also graphical glitches. Sharks and graphical glitches? Oh my golly. Wow. Cool. We got little boxes on the edges of the map. Was this map made by the same person that made Maganatha, guys? Can someone look that up for me? Can someone look up who made Maganatha and who made Celestial Enclave? Because Maganatha also had these boxes pop up in the bottom of your main base. And I wonder if it's something specific that map maker's doing, or if it's just random luck. Because I think it might only be certain hardware that happens on. Alright, so it's going to be a 2 barracks 2-1-1 up against Ling Speed and an Evo Chamber. Now, for Raynor, it's going to be hard to even spend all this lava. He's got 7 lava. Yeah, he doesn't even have enough minerals, guys. And he's going to go for a pretty early carapace here. Oh, he loses his Overlord. Doesn't even have it protected on the pillar. At least he knows there's a lot of Marines, but he should be pulling back all of these Overlords now. He pulls back the one on the right. He's got to pull all of these Overlords to safety. Yeah, because he doesn't want to donate. Once the Medivacs and Marines come across, you don't want to have donations just sitting around like that. Now, he's got a Creep Tumor trying to spread, but it doesn't. Oh, Creep doesn't spread through there. Is that a mistake, guys? I wonder if that's a mistake or not. Interesting. By the way, check out this little underwater tunnel. Is that sewerage or is that like a water slide? Someone explain this to me. Dude, this map's cool. There's another one down here as well. Second Evo Chamber's now started upgrades. 1-1 just beginning for Kua. So Kua's a bit behind the Carapace. Reiner's on 60 drones. No Baneling Nest, no Lair just yet. He's got 1 gas, 2 gases mining. I think we're going to see Lair, then Baneling Nest for him. 100 gas about to kick in. Almost instant. Reiner's build is tight, guys. He's building a few more drones now as well. I think 2 gas, Massling Bane is a very powerful style. He might even skip the Banes and go straight to Infestors and try to play the fast Ultralisk style. And that's a style that is begging for Microbial Shroud. See if it happens. Alright, first Overlord getting sniped here as the attack arrives. 3 more barracks building behind it. Kua's going to try and put pressure on. It's an incredibly greedy map. Very easy to get 5-6 bases on this map compared to the other ones we've seen so far. Who's that favor? I would imagine Reiner, because I think he does pretty well when the map's a bit more open, whereas I think Kua's really confident when he can get that quick push on a 4th base or something like that, right? 5 more barracks building, straight to 8 barracks. My gosh. Okay. All right, Kua. Easy there with the 8 racks. Is he going to go all out 8 racks? Maybe. Oh, because this ledge. If you can get rid of the creep here and then do a tank bio push on that ledge, you might be able to branch forward and split off this base and the bottom right base at the same time. And if you can then like kind of get down to this area to get ramp control, these Evo chambers, I get they're maybe there to obstruct Hellions. I mean, you're pretty screwed if the opponent's in range of these Evo chambers already. Reiner wisely breaking this blockade on the left side of his base. Drops her up there. 1-1 upgrade's about to finish here for Kua. His armory nowhere near done though, which means he's going to fall further and further behind on Reiner with the upgrades. So Reiner's got the upgrade advantage, but his work account's not amazing. Keep in mind though, his gas income's been pretty low for most of this game. Reiner doesn't care about gas advantage. He cares about mineral advantage, and he has mined a massive amount of minerals. He's already going up to 100 Zerglings. He's building macro hatcheries, 2 macro hatcheries. A lot of Europeans used to sniff and stick their nose up at Dark quite haughtily for building 2 macro hatcheries and talk about how he just needs to inject better. But I think Reiner wisely here is saying, even if I inject perfectly, if I'm playing nothing but Zerglings with a few Infestors, I need a lot of lava. Queen's coming forward. Very nice. Get some good damage on the Medivacs. Respreads the creep on this ridge. Like I said, this ridge is so important. Marauders are coming in 3, 4 at a time out of those Tech Lab barracks now. Reiner wisely splitting his Lings up to deal with the multi-drop on both sides. Kua still clearing the creep and just kind of keeping him contained. That Hive is not coming up super fast. This is a more of a mass Ling style that'll transition into Ultras steadily, but not that quickly. Nice snipe there on the 6th base. Reiner, of course, has a 5th here. Will instantly rebuild the 6th when he can. I love that the Lings are tracking these Medivacs. Bit harder to unload. By the way, guys, you might be wondering, this here is the Penis Forest. I hope you guys, I mean, I don't think anyone else is going to call this part of the map anything else, okay? You guys let me know if you have an alternate name, but come on. I don't know, we can call it the Silly Willy Forest or something. You guys come up with names for this area of the map, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Not too sure about that one, buddy. Oh, what? It's just a standard alien plant life. Come on, man. That's a weird looking thing. Okay, we got the Marines pulling back. Here comes the push. Q is starting to move forwards right now. You'd be careful about getting a wet willy when you're near the willy forest, guys. Massling moves around the left side. Get spotted. Get spotted. Ooh, not such a surprise then, is it? Q is going to pull back with his whole army. Good pullback for him. I think he might want to split part of the army to chase those as well. Zergling goes there. Widow Mines are ready at the wall off, though. And Ultra Cavern is finished. Baneling speed has started. 2-2 is done for Zerg. Adrenal Glands is on the way. How quick is Ultra upgrade? I do not know. As the army roams around here, Lings are going to go into that base. It's a planetary on the 4th. There's a bunch of bio ready to defend it. He's a bit slow to repair, though. The SCV is taking a little bit of damage. The bio, though, I think this is good for Kua. Reiner committing here is crazy. That's a crazy choice. I don't think he gets the kill, does he? I don't think he gets it. He doesn't. The planetary survives. It's got 20 kills, and Reiner loses a hatchery. Bad choice for Reiner to commit to that. I would have loved to see him just pull back and have those units ready to flank. Now he's going to go again into a planetary. Reiner, is he mad? He might be mad. He might be correct, though. Lings are cheap, and they are very powerful with their damage. Oh my god, it's going to work. It's the sort of madness that's correct. It is the brazen choice that so few players would dare to do, but he's done it. Now, he still hasn't gone Microbial Shroud, which is a travesty with this army. This army is made for Microbial Shroud, man. There's a bio-tank push coming in. He's got Ultras there. He's got Infestors. He's going to try and use Transfuses as best he can. Kindness Plating not quite done. Great Fungals, but he doesn't have Kindness. Is it enough? I mean, he's got so much Fungal and Transfuse. And the Ultras, they might not kill everything, but actually, no, they even kill everything with just a section of his army while his Lings ravage the entire base on the other side of the map. And Kjua's got to be gutted. He's got to be gutted, man. He did such a good job against the first wave. I do wonder, guys. So the question is, like, what did Kjua screw up? And you know what? Either this army should have pushed in harder and faster, realizing you don't have Banelings, and if I pre-spread and just push really aggressively, you can't really deal with it, right? As long as you don't clump massively, and even if you do, Fungal doesn't do that much damage. You can medevac heal your way through it. Kjua could have already got down here before the Ultras were popping, if he pushed harder, number one. Number two, this is a really hard call to make, but in hindsight, it's 2020, so I get to make this call just because I'm watching from the sidelines. He should have pulled a whole bunch of SCVs, either from the main or the natural, to repair this faster and go back on minerals. But you've got a pack of bio, you've got Widow Mines, you've got a planetary that's just defended an attack. The last thing on your mind is, oh, I need to repair this faster. 2 SCVs isn't quick enough. Who possibly would think about that? I wouldn't. Kjua doesn't. And as a result, these Masslings actually do so well. Oh, man. That's actually crazy. That's such a good engage. But back to the point I was making, what's he really got to defend? 50 Zerglings and a few Fungals. It's not that good. I think Kjua over-respected the Fungal here. This is a greedy build for Reynor, but he gets away with it, and he forces a game 5. GG. Alright, guys. We've got Kjua in the bottom right side of the map, Reynor in the top left. Great choice by Reynor to not go 3-3 in that game. He knew that the important thing was getting out the Ultras, getting out the Infestors, and basically, you know, winning at that moment in the game, rather than the 3-3 would have come in if the game settled down a few minutes later, but that was the most important moment for him. Now he's going to go back to 16 hatchery here on Satellite Years, guys. Satellite Years. You guys understand that name or have any lore on the map, you let me know. Look at this, guys. Oh, cool. There's like a little path that goes to... There's a little flag there, I think. It's one of the windsocks, and there's a single Moopy just chilling over there in the corner of the map. Someone please send an Overlord over there at some point so I can actually see it. Yeah, you can kind of see him here a little bit better as well. The Moopy hanging out down this little wired path. It's a snow map out there. You've got some solar panels. There's another Moopy hanging out down here, this little Ewok guy who's praying to, I don't know if this is like a radio antenna or something. We've got in the middle of the map, what is this? Why is this colored like this? What is this, guys? Why is this giant... Does anyone know what this is? Is this a special feature? Why does this show up as this color? I do not know. Or is this just a bug? I think it looks like it's a double hedge. There must be some sort of interesting feature that I haven't looked into on this map. All right, someone in chat can let me know if you guys look up Satellite Years for me. This is my first time casting a game on this map, guys. So no, I have not done my homework on the 16 different maps being played in this tournament. I've glanced at them, and that's about it. I've watched 1 or 2 games on them. Rich gas is there. I don't know why this is like such a big symbol on the map. The fact that it's got the yellow grass in amongst the green grass makes me think it has some sort of special effect, but I just don't know what it is. All right, Reaper dancing around right now. Get some good damage, man. Okay, this time he actually built the spore. Yeah, one thing I notice sometimes from pros, guys, is they don't move the drone to exactly where it needs to be before they place the structure. So they'll move the drone here and then place the spore there, but that is extra time. You've got to place the spore directly where the drone is, or move the drone to where you want to place it if you want to wait to the last second. It didn't matter there, but that's kind of what I think as a habit was getting Reynor into trouble earlier in the series when he was losing a Zergling and a drone every single game. This time, still 2 Zerglings, which is still, I think, fantastic damage for Kjua. He's going to be going for a Hellion Banshee build, it looks like. How much it shows up on the map? I didn't understand from looking at the screen. It just looked like yellow parts. Yeah, on the map, guys. You see where I'm hovering on the map? It almost looks like there's a Mutalisk on the map, like a giant Mutar icon or something. I have a theory why the map looks like that, but the doodads looking that way, it's just a result of how lighting works in the engine and some color tinting, says Avex. Okay, so it's not a special piece of terrain? No worries. Yeah, I mean, I thought it might be a purposeful thing they've put on the map, and it's like a cool new feature that we haven't seen used before, since I know that they are more open to letting cool features on the map. We've got healing shrines, which everyone said was going to break the game. There were so many StarCraft fans who said healing shrines were going to ruin StarCraft. It's like the most non-issue ever that is barely ever used. And occasionally, very occasionally, we get a cool highlight clip where some fun interaction happens around it. And one has to wonder why StarCraft players were screaming. Of course, on the other hand, I do understand why StarCraft 2 players are always screaming about anything that might add variability. And it's just the way StarCraft 2 is designed. It's a very fast game where if you're not looking, you can get killed by a lot of things. Banelings running when you're not looking, you're dead. You know, Fungal lands and Ultras jump on top, you're dead. You know, Widowmines land when you're not looking, there's a lot of things that make you feel like they're pretty much game-ending damage when you're not looking, or you're a bit slow to react, or you get caught off guard. And I think because of that, people are just in a heightened, stressed-out state a lot of the time playing StarCraft, and they panic a little bit under pressure. And as a result, if they think there's something out there which might introduce a bit more frustration in any situation, no matter how edge case it is, they go, no, make the game. Can we just play every game on the same map? Can we just play every game? Can always be a certain matchup. I want to play ZVT only on the ladder. I don't want to play against Protoss or other Zergs. And I only want to play on Daybreak every single game. And I'm like, I understand the urge to simplify what is such a chaotic game, but definitely from a viewership perspective and for the pros, adding map features is always fun. Pig, don't you think Microbial Shroud's too expensive for use? You need Fungal to defend nonstop. That's why it's a late game thing. It's not something you just rush to and like 8 minutes in you're winning with. That's why we're not going to see it much, because most games are decided in the first 8 minutes, right? In StarCraft 2, it's a very high intensity game. But definitely, if the game slows down just a little bit, you have a little bit. I mean, there's plenty of games we've seen Raynor with 5 infestors with double fungal on them, or like 130 energy. There's no reason why Raynor could not have used Microbial Shroud in those games, right? But I think there's people who are looking at it, once again, through a very simplistic thing, like, what if the enemy just moves out of it? And I'm like, well, you've got to flank them from 2 sides or land fungals, right? With it, number 1. Number 2, it's still going to reduce damage while they're started stepping backwards, which is still very useful while you're closing the distance with an enemy army, right? And it's the same thing here where people are like, well, I just won't have energy. And it's like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you can't just like be like, I'm playing Microbial Shroud. That's my strategy, right? You can't just say I'm playing Abduct. And, my opponent attacked with a 2-base all-in and I didn't get Vipers out, so I just die. It's like, doesn't really work like that. It's a late-game spell. Like I said, it's going to kick in probably 6 months down the track when Serral wins a tournament using a lot of Microbial Shroud, and everyone will realize how good it is. But you need practice to figure out how to use a spell that's so expensive, that you need an expensive slow upgrade to get, that kicks in pretty late in the game in big fights. It's not something you can get a lot of practice with. Like Fungal, you can immediately use Fungal the moment it comes out and get a lot of practice improving your execution at it. Shroud is a much more complicated spell, and that's why, like I said, I don't think we're going to see players get good at it. Dude, he's playing the same style. Raynor, greedy boy. He's playing the same Hive Rush, no Baneling style. I mean, he'll add Banelings later. This is such a greedy build, but he is one of the best in the world at it, and I do love this build. I mean, for a long time, I remember like experimenting with this style on the ladder. The weakness is always, if they just get a timing onto you before your ultras come in, even like you need to have really perfect links arounds and fungals, and preferably you need to counterattack to buy time, right? You need to try and scare the Terran into slowing down their attack because you're constantly threatening mass link around base. Where are Raynor's queens, guys? He keeps sending his drones back in range of those banshees. 8 drones go down. I think he should have just pulled them off mining. But he did the pro gamer thing where he just clicks the drones to the other side. They immediately go back, clicks the drones to the other mineral patch. They go back and die, clicks them to the mineral patch. They go back and die, clicks them to the mineral patch and die. If you guys want them to stay mining, I think in that scenario, you just box and you right click there and then you shift click back to minerals. Just give yourself a little bit more time to let those units survive. 8 racks is up, guys. He's not waiting. He's going to go. He's just building Marines. No add-ons. This is the first time in this series Q is doing a classic 8 racks. He's doing the really fast push. Combat Shields is not ready just yet. I think with Hellbats as well. Oh my god, those Hellbats are a menace. He cannot deal with Hellbats. Reynor, his hive's finished, but he doesn't have an Ultra Cavern. He needs to get rid of the Hellbats with the Queens. Every Hellbat he kills with the Queens before the fight starts is actually so good for him, and his Lings need to counter. His Lings are going to go counter now. It might be a little bit slow, though. He needs to go counter. I don't think he can defend this base. His Ultra Cavern still hasn't started. He's trying to defend with nothing but Lings, Queens, and Infestors. But look at that interception on the rally. Combat Shield's not quite done. Those Marines get toasted. Hellbats and Marines come forward. One Fungal does land. A couple of Hellbats do go down. Every Hellbat that falls before the fight starts means there is a chance of Reynor with +2 Carapace crushing this. He's going to go for it. He's not waiting. He's going to go for it. He doesn't wait for +2 Carapace. There are some Hellbats in the back. Great Fungals landing. The Infestors getting focused by the tanks. Almost all the Infestors go down. Beautiful Transfusers. And I think Kua might just have enough left over to finish this game because there is an Ultra Cavern not finished. The Marines and Hellbats push in. Kua absolutely smashing, but those Queens do hold the line for a moment, buying valuable seconds. He has to give it up now. This is such a big problem right now. Shut up with your fire alarm test, guy. I know it's a fire alarm test. The fire right now is in Reynor's base. There's not a test for him. This is his base getting burnt down. Shut up, guy on the speakers in my house. Here we go. Zerglings are going around the base right now, going for the Marines. The Marines trying to run forward. The drones running away. And I think Kua might have this one in the bag, guys. Reynor's trying to micro to that top right side. He's got Infestors and Ultras building. He's only got 20 Zerglings and 6 Queens. Kua has a legitimate army. These 20 Zerglings, though, getting really good value on the rally, intercepting these Marines as they filter forwards. Kua's going to try and push forward deep on creep. He's got to keep going, but these Zerglings getting insanely good value right now. That's actually really, really impressive. The Marines and the tanks coming forward. There are still some Infestors. The Ultras are going to have time to pop out. It looks like if Kua needs to move. Kua needs to shove up that ramp and win the game right now. He can eat a Fungal. It does not matter. He's got to go, but his Medivacs are out of juice. His Marines are heavily damaged. The Ultras are here. Ultras plus Fungal. Very scary. Maybe the window. Oh, look at that. Great double Fungal. Catches a bunch of the Marines. The Medivacs heal them through it, though. He needs siege tanks to deal with these. He's only got 1-1. Dude, he's only got +1 Marines against Ultras with Chitinous Plating about to come in. The Marines are not well upgraded at all. +2 Carapace has been done this whole time. These Lings need to go around. Reyn is still down 30 supply. He's got Marines in his base. His hatchery is about to go down. These 2 tanks are so important. These 3 siege tanks, I should say. Here we go. The rally's going to come forward. +2-2. Not quite done yet for Kua. He's going to lose more units here. But the siege tank, no, the tank does go down, as do all the Marines. Meanwhile, Ultra's coming forward. The Marines are deep on creep. The creep has not receded yet. The Queen's coming forward, trying to transfuse. Omega Fungal lands on the Marines. They do take out 1 Ultra, but the Ultras are coming forward. Reynor trying to fight back from behind. The tanks are finally being broken here. Kua was playing this like an all-in. He did not want to transition. He wanted to just go win the game. That may have been a crucial mistake because Reynor hanging on by the skin of his teeth right now, and Kua has to pull back and transition. And guess what? He's just started a 4th command center 30 seconds ago. He does not have a 4th command center going. In the middle of this, Reynor rebuilt this hatchery, and his drones were down here hiding the whole time. He never lost those drones. They just have gone back to mining. The fact that he got this base up here and rebuilt this base in the middle of all that is actually incredible. Q is still up in supply. He's equal in upgrades now after fighting for several minutes without it. Oh, he loses all those Marines without having the pickup. Now, Double Lib's going to come in. But these Queens are going to deal with this, man. These Queens are happy to tank a few shots here because that means the drones aren't dying. The Liberators are going to go down for just 2 Queens. 2 Libs for 2 Queens is a great trade for Reynor. Kua right now, I think he thought he had this in the bag. I think we all thought it, but he's getting sloppy now, and he's got to slow down. He started 3-3. He's gone for the Tech Labs. He's going to go for the Marauders. The Ling Bane, oh, sorry, should I say Ling Infestor Ultra defense for Reynor hanging on. I mean, this was, I think, a strategy that was tailor-made to punish Reynor's incredibly greedy build. But we've talked about Reynor over the years. He is a world champion. He's a 3-time finalist, 1-time winner of the World Championship. And one of Reynor's biggest features throughout his StarCraft history has been the ability to win games that he does, build order-wise, strategy-wise on paper, does not deserve to win. But when you look at his instincts, his skill, his ability to fight under pressure, to counterattack, to play that scrappy style, you need to play so excellently to put Reynor in the ground because his multitasking is that good. His scrappiness is that good as well. And I mean, famously, he would often have to lose a game or 2 to wake up, right? He's a guy who would lose game 1 or 2 in a best of 5, then he'd come back and win 3 in a row. He's known for those comebacks. But right now, got a big army coming, 15 Marauders, 48 Marines, 3 tanks. No Libs right now in the army. There's 7 Ultras and 2 Infestors out. The Ultras here trying to fight. The Queens are getting gunned down. The Bio coming forward. Oh, great move for Kua. Gets a few drones. He's got to be careful about overextending, though. I think Q's got to keep it in his pants. Mass Ling Ultra counterattack gets in. Intercepts the rally. Depots do get up over here. These SCVs are in trouble as well. The bio comes back, but the stims run out. He's going to stim again. We'll take care of that Ultralisk. He's going to be able to defend eventually, but this is a lot of chaos, a lot of time being bought by a Raynor who's got this new base up in the on the right. Needs to double re-expand, does Raynor, in the midst of this and keep doing counters like this. If he could take this base and think about sneaking a drone over here, ready to retake this while sending more counters across, he could be in a great spot. Gets 20 SCVs, massive damage, forces multiple scans. If he could sneak some ultras around to this planetary, that would really just remove Q's economy from the game. As it is, though, income-wise, double the mineral income for Zerg right now. And of course, we can see the upgrades. 3-3, maybe ahead for Terran, but +3 Carapace not that far behind. Raynor's on 7 ultras, going on 9. Still no microbial shroud for him. He's decided just fungals and ultras will do it. And to be fair, fungal ultra has always been such a great comp. Fungal ultra Ling Bane. Nothing's ever changed about that. Mass Ling counter comes in here. There's a tank on the high ground. The SCVs do quickly evacuate, but he doesn't have enough bio there to defend. He's trying to send some bio back. At the same time, he's trying to push on the front. The Banelings and ultras will clean up the front line of his troops. Back at home, the Lings are inside. His bio's in the third. They're not inside the main, though, which means his production's exposed. Q is going to try and push at the same time, and that's where the Fungal Ultra goes for it. Raynor did not need any more encouragement than that. You run onto creep while I've got Lings in your base, and he does get a fantastic engagement. The tanks may defend the high ground for now, but that's just because Raynor doesn't realize how low the level of supporting units are. He's going to flank around the left and close in on this position, and here we go. It's, what, 4 Marauders and 2 tanks. That is indefensible, this position. Q has got to pick up and save what he can. And that is just a few units. 13 SCVs have gone down recently. It's a total of 33 SCVs in this game. And Raynor taking control from what appeared to be a lost game. Satellite years, man. It was quite far from the push up here to get deeper into the base. I think Q was doing decently with it, but because his 2-2 was so late with that delayed armory, and he didn't go for like extra libs with his... Imagine if he had a few libs arrive when he was pushing here, I think Raynor would have died. Because I don't think he had any answer to Liberators with the push. His ultras were kind of what carried him through there with the comeback. And imagine if there was a few Liberators joining that push. CV's in trouble on this base yet again. Kua is stuck hugging his initial 4 bases, whilst Raynor adds the final cream, or icing I should say, on top of the cake. The Corruptor. We all know that Corruptors with Ultraling Bane allow you to deal with libs, medevacs. They only cost 2 supply, very supply efficient unit, very tanky unit as well. They can tank some marine and even Widowmine shots really well. He's taking a base up there as well as a base over here. Raynor's got this one in control. He never made +3 melee, which I do think has been an upgrade he's been missing a bit today. Now that he's maxed out, I would like to see him at it. He's made a lot more Banelings. He's looking for the army that can roll over the top. What a comeback, dude. Q played such an excellent series. I gotta say, I'm kind of gutted for him if he can't now make a big comeback of his own. He's trying to fight there, but that's not going to work out. Moves like this, they seem like a good way to keep you alive. Corruptors are building. So he's on a time. If he stays up here, the Corruptors will catch these drops, and that will end him, because Bio Tank Army just doesn't have the money to go Ghosts now. Ghosts would be the thing that he really needs to add to this. Oh, this is tough, man. Very cool map so far, by the way, guys. We've got a big space station here. He's a bit of a spinny, throbby boy. These, of course, are from the Wings of Liberty mission with the battlecruisers and stuff. There's also a friggin' floating Zeppelin with a Moopy on it over here as well. We got more of these... Are these solar panels or like satellite receivey dishy things, guys? I don't know. Spore Crawler's going to move over. Only 2 drones go down. This drop does split to that side. Those guys go there. Oh, the Omega Spore does kill the drop. Those 2 Marauders not going to find enough value to pay for themselves. What is this on the ground? Just a bit of snow on this cabling, eh? Very cool. All right. Little statue there as well. Oh, he goes for the drop because the Corruptors found him. Sorry, guys, getting distracted by map features here as I watch Kua hang in. Ah, oh, man, losing those units is not good. He's got a big army supply equal with Raynor. It's going to get bigger as time goes on. 10 Ultras, 1 Infest. Only 1 Infestor now. There's just so much Lingbane Corruptor. Here we go. A lot of the bio taking big damage. Kua trying to spread backwards off creep. The Liberators get a few good shots off, but now he's out of range of those Libs, and the Bio is left on its own. The Libs getting taken out by the Corruptors. The Ultraling Bane clears everything else. Raynor there with a ridiculous comeback. The 8 racks had him dead to rights, but Kua didn't transition and didn't get up there quick enough. If he'd pushed up into that ramp earlier or got some Libs there, I think Raynor might have just been screwed, but oh, Kua just took a bit too long. The Ling run bys were excellent for Raynor. He had 20 Zerglings that killed about 30 Marines rallying across the map, and Raynor wins the series and goes to the semis. GG, well played.